Hey, I'm Austin with Training Tall, and welcome back to another rowing machine review video. Today we're going to be talking about the City Row Go. Finally got my hands on it and excited to tell you all about it today. If you're new to the channel, hello, I'm Austin, Training Tall. I'm 6'8", but Training Tall is not about being tall, it's about giving you the tips and strategies to help you take your fitness and health above the average, no matter how tall you are. And I love reviewing rowing machines. I've talked about the Hydro, the Ergata, the Concept 2, the Avaron, a bunch of budget rowers, the traditional WaterRower, and finally today we're sitting on the City Row Go. And in this video, I'm gonna give you my first impressions of the machine, specifically talking about how it feels to row, the platform itself, the features that it offers, and whether it's something for you to consider for a rowing machine for you. And in the future, I want to do some comparison videos between this rower and the other high-end rowers, such as Ergata. And throughout the video, I will be referencing other rowing machines as well, and I've got reviews for all those videos linked down below if you want to check out any of those other rowers, and also check out my website, trainingtall.net, for more rowing resources like training plans, personal coaching, form reviews, my app with follow-along workouts. You can check that all out, linked down below. All right, let's get into this. So we're going to start off by talking about the specs of the machine, and it's very similar to other water rowers. The length of this thing, 85 inches. That's pretty much kind of the standard length of a rowing machine. This thing isn't going to be any longer or shorter than any other rowing machine that you'll get. Now, I love this machine for the length of the rail, because as a tall guy with longer legs, I have a 36-inch inseam. This machine supports up to a 39-inch inseam, which is so awesome, which means with legs fully extended, there's still some room to spare. And yeah, I know this is a me problem, but for other tall folks out there, you have to consider that when it comes to buying a rowing machine. And I'm happy to report that there's lots of room to row with your long legs on this thing. It also supports up to 375 pounds, which is a little bit less than the other high-end water rower, the Ergata, which supports about 500 pounds. Now, as far as the weight of this thing goes, dry, this machine is like 75 pounds, but you gotta put water in it to actually feel the resistance when you row, and when you fill with water, it's a little over 110 pounds. What's awesome too about the machine is that it's super easy to store and put away. The monitor arm and the monitor fold down and fold away, and this thing stands upright, just like a variety of other water rowers do. And because rowers take up space, it's very nice to have something that can be put up away and brought back down so easily. Okay, now this next part is the most exciting thing about the City Row Go rower, in my opinion, and that's because it's a water rower with a frickin' monorail. Yeah? You might be thinking, Austin, why is that important at all? Why does that matter? What about the two rails? Like, what's the difference? You see, with the monorail on the City Row Go rower, what this does is this allows the foot plates of the rower to be wider apart from each other. And when it comes to achieving the proper biomechanics of the rowing stroke, especially if you're someone who has a larger midsection, you want the foot plates wider apart to allow you to lean forward as you bend your legs comfortably without your lower back tucking and rounding underneath you. And that is a common problem on the dual rails of most water rowers, because that squeezes the foot plates together, making it more uncomfortable to get into that proper lean forward position. Not only that, but on this machine, the seat and the foot plates, there's a discrepancy there. The foot plates are sitting lower than the seat, and the adjustability of the foot plates too allows you to drop your feet super, super low if you'd like to. And this, again, allows you to just comfortably get to the front end of the rowing stroke without feeling any extra pressure or pain in your lower back. And I'm telling you right now, the feeling of the rowing stroke on this machine, this is the best a water rower has ever felt to row on. And so huge props to the City Row Go rower for being able to innovate on that design, getting away from the traditional two rails, getting onto the monorail. This is going to help so many users feel so much more comfortable on the machine. Now, not only that, but it includes the longer form rowing machine handle. Water rowers typically either have a shorter handle or the longer handle. This comes with the longer handle, and a longer handle is great because you want to be able to grip wide to allow your shoulders to stay down away from your ears and allow your wrists to be nice and flat. With the shorter bar that comes on some other water rowers, it can feel a little awkward as you pull it in. So overall, God, this thing just feels so good to row. And water resistance, there's so many pluses to water resistance. I mean, listen to this thing, listen. So soothing, even if you row hard like this. Like that amount of noise is so minuscule compared to the freaking chainsaw machine of the Concept 2. And if you're someone who lives in an apartment setting or in a big family home where no one wants to hear you cranking it out on the rowing machine first thing in the morning, the noise level is a big deal. And this thing is nice and quiet and soothing sounding even at max effort. And I will stand by it and say that this rower is the best a WaterRower has ever felt. And I would almost argue that this rower is worth it just because of that, at least compared to traditional WaterRowers. And the prices are actually pretty similar when you compare like standard WaterRowers to the City Row Go. Now this is the Go Max rower with the big TV screen on it, but you can get one without the big TV on it where you can still access all the workouts and things like that from your phone. And the pricing for that is around the same price as a standard WaterRower would be. I'm just a big fan of the monorail design. As someone who coaches hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of individuals on their rowing form, and understanding that the biomechanics of the rowing stroke, we need to make it as comfortable as possible to get that front end position. This is making it happen. And that's a huge, huge, huge plus. So like I mentioned like a couple seconds ago, there's the City Row Go Classic, and then there's the City Row Go Max. And I've got the Max, which has the big TV, which essentially puts all of the workouts and classes that the City Row Go has to offer right here on your screen. And if you have the classic version without the big monitor here, it comes with an arm attachment where you can put up your phone or your tablet and you can work everything through the City Row Go app. So what's this app all about? Are there games? Are there follow-along workouts? What kind of stuff's offered? Well, this is not a gaming rowing platform. This is a follow-along workout program platform. You get access to the hundreds upon hundreds of workouts that are available on the platform. All these workouts are broken down into durations of either 20, 30, or 50 minutes. And there's 9 instructors across the platform. Now, what I was pleasantly surprised to see is that there's a whole lot of variety on this machine that is not just rowing workouts. They've got HIIT workouts, endurance workouts, strength workouts, yoga, and mobility. And a majority of the workouts on the platform have you working intervals of rowing and then off the rower on a mat doing either bodyweight exercises or weighted exercises, which you can cater to you based off of the equipment that you have, as well as adjust a huge variety of things in the filters so that way you can find the specific type of workouts that you're looking to do. Now what's super cool is that because so many of the workouts involve you being on and off of the rower, what's nice is that the monitor itself actually angles outwards if you'd like it to, so that way when you're on your mat, whether it's doing the total on the mat workouts or hopping between the mat and the rower, then you can just turn the angle of the monitor and that way you can see the screen the whole time. Like, that's cool. Okay, so let's talk about the instructors and the workouts. Now, just a note on the instructors. I went through and I watched all of their rowing forms, and while I have my own personal opinions on their form, I would say that some of the instructors row better than the others. However, after listening to how the instructors are instructing the rowing form, they all do a good job of being motivating, energetic, and teaching you the right things about rowing, even though they might not necessarily be doing it perfectly themselves. But we can't all be perfect. I'm not perfect, but that's just something to note. Now, one thing that I absolutely love about the workouts on this platform and that make it different than a lot of the workouts that you'll see on other types of follow-along workouts and rowing machines is that they spend the first couple of minutes of each workout working through some mobility exercises off of the rower to help you warm up and get your body loosey-goosey ready for the rowing workouts or the rowing and weights or body weight combo of stuff. The point is you work through some exercises before you row, which is super important because rowing is just one aspect of your fitness, and they do a great job of really helping you prep your body and work through those other aspects of your fitness to help you row better. Not only that, but they go through rowing drills before getting into the rowing workouts as well, breaking down the stroke into legs and core or arms only, and then helping you tie that all together. So there's a lot of learning that's involved along the way before you really get into the workouts, which is so great, especially for beginners. Now, as you're rowing and following along with the workouts, you can see on your user interface essentially the metrics that you would want to see in your workout. Your total distance, your split per 500, your watts, your stroke rate, and they also throw in what they call the intensity percentage. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's constantly recalculating your intensity percentage based off of how you rate your effort in your workouts and the split per 500s and watts that you're able to achieve during the workouts. So the more workouts that you do, the better the intensity percentage predictor is at predicting what your actual percentage of intensity is. Does that make sense? So while you do see these basic metrics that you would want to see when you're working out, when you're following along with the instructor, there's really nothing else to see. You're basically listening to the instructor and following along. There's no visual cue telling you to row at this specific stroke rate or for how long you're rowing at this specific stroke rate for. You're just kind of listening to the instructor tell you to do it, and you just kind of do it. And I think the quality of these workouts would be a lot higher if there were more visual elements that were thrown on. As the instructor says, all right, team, let's take it up to 24 strokes per minute, and then something flashes on. It says 24 strokes per minute, 2 minutes, and it counts down, or something like that. What's also really cool about these follow-along workouts is you can pause, rewind, or fast forward at any point in the workout, which is super awesome. So it's like once you hit play, it's not just gonna keep going and you can't leave. Like you can pause it, hop off, hop back on, and everything is still saved and in place, which is a super sweet feature. Now you might be wondering, do they have a feature where you can program in your own intervals or your own workouts? Well, kind of, sort of. They have a feature called Just Row, and during that, you can just pick up the handle and start rowing. And it's gonna show you the basic metrics that you would see during the regular follow-along workouts. Now, while you're on that screen, you can also program in basic time or distance intervals. And when I say basic, I mean basic. Like if you want to type in timed intervals, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute 30, 2 minutes, 2:30, it goes up in 30-second increments. Same with the distance, 50 meters, 100 meters, 150, 200. But what's cool is that you can put those in whenever you want, and it does the interval countdown separate from the total time and the total distance of what you're doing. So it gives you a little bit more versatility to program in those intervals as basic as they might be. So when you complete your workouts, whether it's on the Just Row or you're doing the follow-along workouts themselves, your metrics and your data are saved and you have access to that. You can go to the Track tab within the home screen and it will give you a nice breakdown of how you've been doing with your total number of workouts, your total number of meters, your total number of active minutes, and a variety of other things that you would want to see to help you track your progress long term. Now, the City Row Go is still a fairly new platform, so we can definitely expect more and more workouts and things like that to be added over time. But what's nice to see is that right now, you even have access to structured programs of workouts. Instead of just picking random workouts, they've got things like the Beginner Challenge, a 4-week 3 times per week challenge where you can work through different workouts to help you better understand how to row well, and actively progress yourself. And there's a couple other workout programs that are on there as well. And again, we can expect more to be added in the future, which is cool. Programs are always better than just random workouts being thrown at you, in my opinion. So there you go. Those are my initial impressions on the City Row Go rower. Let's do a quick little review of everything and wrap it all up, shall we? So just talking about the specs and the design of the machine, again, this is one of the best highlights of the machine itself, is the fact that it is a WaterRower that feels so comfortable and so awesome to row on. I didn't even talk about the seat, but the seat's nice and cushy too. I mean, this thing is the most comfortable WaterRower experience that I've ever had, and I've used a ton of WaterRowers. This thing is super easy to store up and put away as needed. The water resistance is awesome for those that are in a noise-concerning environment. And while some of the instructors row better than others, all the instructors have a lot of energy, lots of smiles, and are giving good advice to help coach you through all the workouts. There's hundreds and hundreds of workouts to choose from, including pre-structured programs that are already built in. And you're gonna be able to get your dose of workouts on the rower and off the rower through a variety of strength training, mobility, yoga, and things like that. While I do wish there were more visual inputs going on during the workouts to help better guide you, the basic metrics that they do show with the distance, the split time, your watts, and your stroke rate, that's gonna give you everything that you need to be successful for your workouts and to track your workouts over time through their track save workout feature. I think the fact that you can choose to go for the City Row Go Max with the monitor or go for the classic version and use the companion app instead, I think having that versatility is freaking awesome, especially if you're trying to really budget yourself for a higher end rower. I'm gonna leave it at that for now, but in the future, I'm gonna do a deep dive comparison of this WaterRower versus the Ergata WaterRower, as well as this compared to the Hydro, because both of these platforms are very similar with their on and off the rower structure, and doing a deep dive comparison of the two I think is gonna be really helpful in the future. But I hope you enjoyed this first impressions video. If you're interested in checking out more from City Row Go, you can check them out down linked below. And if you made it to the end of the video, what the heck is your favorite color? Mine is forest green. What is yours? Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you want to see more from me down in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. Share it with someone who's interested in rowing machines. And I'll see you in the next video.